Gather round. It's time for your Real Estate Chalk Talk with the Hittner Group. Listen closely as your coaches discuss the culture, the economy, and the political scene, and how it affects your home and your real estate investments. Real Estate Chalk Talk is where you learn the science of buying and selling real estate and the art of living in your home. Your education begins in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey there, welcome to the program. This is your Real Estate Chalk Talk with the Hittner Group. HittnerGroup.com, Hittner Group. That's all one word, HittnerGroup.com, 612-627-8000, 612-627-8000. Give us a ring-a-ling-a-ling. Be happy to have a chat with you. Calvin Kamick from Loan Depot, of course, co-hosting every week. My Smarter Mortgage is the big website you want to go to, mysmartermortgage.com. I like that one. Takes you right to the application page.
It does. It's very easy. Wow, that's really bad. There we go.
Okay, so here we go.
All right.
This week's report. Well, first of all, we got to give a shout out to Charlie Kirk and his family. I just want to, everyone else is doing it, and probably people are sick of hearing about it now, but it's terrible.
It's terrible.
It's just a terrible thing. They say a political assassination. I think it's more. It's an assassination or attempt to quelch religious freedom and thought and conversation. All he did is discuss things with people and answer questions and debate back and forth in a respectful manner, and they killed him for it, which is insane.
Yeah. Yeah, you feel so bad for his wife and kids that were at the event.
Right.
Row, your heart just breaks.
It does.
Doesn't
It just breaks. So the question is who's going to step up now? And because as it was Turning Point was his
Turning Point. Yep.
It was his organization, and major impact in the country, major impact in the last 2-3 political cycles.
They say he probably is responsible for delivering the young person vote for Trump.
Absolutely.
Which, when you listen to a lot of his stuff, and my boys, he's probably number 2 or 3 on their list of who they listen to. Like I was, because I watch this stuff all the time, but I wonder if my boys were like really moved yesterday with, I'm just like shocked because like they watch this stuff. This young generation, man, they watch this stuff, and it's great what he was doing, and it's just a tragedy,
So who's next up? Is Ben Shapiro going to fill some of that? Because there's be a vacuum there, so who's going to fill that space? That's yet to be seen, but that Turning Point organization is a large organization now, and so it's not
started out of his parents' garage when he was 18
years old.
Love that.
Unreal.
Right.
And
the ability to articulate, and you and I are similar in this, Keith, that you just really love to listen to people that can articulate their point well, right? And he could articulate without getting all fiery and all excited, and he could just articulate his point and challenge your thinking, and the people who you would debate, and he would just sit there and just listen, and then he would just ask questions, and I thought it was just, they said it's a mix of Rush Limbaugh and Billy Graham.
Yeah.
Because you had the political side and you had the faith side, depending where the conversation was going. And man, the guy was articulate with his faith, with his politics, with so yeah, pretty devastating. So,
all right, real estate market, active inventory. We made our bounce back now because we're a week past the back to school thing, a week past Labor Day. Everything's kind of settling down. Inventory jumped up a couple hundred units in the 7-county metropolitan area.
Oh, did it really?
Yep. So we're at about 355 units ahead of a year ago's numbers. Not bad.
So everybody waited till the state fair was over and then got their homes listed. Is that what you're saying?
It's usually what happens is we have a state fair, which is just sucks the oxygen out of the air. And then you're going to have Labor Day, and the people are enjoying the Labor Day weekend. They're going up to the lake and buttoning the lake places up and such. And then the kids are back in school. They got to get back into the daily rhythm, get the kids on the bus, and all that stuff.
There's a lot of factors. It's kind of like saying Super Bowl kicks off the spring, or March Madness, or whatever. It's really just a lot is.
Yeah,
really.
Exactly.
So now we use the state fair as a benchmark, but it is people getting their vacations in. Summertime is wrapping up, and they're like, "Oh crap, we're gonna move this year."
Yeah.
And so
Well, even the people who are bringing the homes on the market, they're waiting. Because who's going to bring your home on the market in the middle of State Fair and Labor Day weekend? You're not. So then it gets pushed back, and
so here we are.
Normal is all get out.
Here we are.
Here we are.
Normal
seasonal adjustment here. 7,892 homes on the market in the 7-county metropolitan area. That's 36% ahead of the beginning of the year, and again up about 355 units from a year ago. Moving through the market, what do we got here? New pendings. Guess what, Calvin? How much do you think they are? 844. Hovering in that 900 units, just a steady.
That's
eddy.
A little bit lower, isn't it?
Just a touch. Just a touch
over 900.
It was over 900 for the first half of the year. Now it's going to be hovering in these 8s.
Okay.
Maybe drop down in the 7s as we get into
really?
further into the year. 33 days in the market, that has gone up a titch, but still bringing more homes on the market than are moving off.
Mm-hmm.
So inventory is swelling up a little bit. Total solds this year 26,000 versus 25,000 a year ago, so about 1,000 more homes sold. Decent market, really decent market.
Yeah, market's fine.
I think that if we're talking about, he's got a townhome coming on the market in Brooklyn Park, and we're talking about like rental properties and things like that. We're going to get into some of this stuff in the next segment, but if interest rates tick down another bit, I wasn't thinking that was going to have that much of an impact, but I'm thinking it is. If we get a half a point off of interest rates, I think we're going to see a real spurt on activity of some people who were looking at the first part of the year when the rates were, in the high 7s, and now, or mid to high 7s, and now they're suddenly in the low 6s. That's a big impact,
right?
And prices have not gone up.
Yeah, prices stay steady or probably trickle down just a hair.
Just a little
bit. When
bit.
I hear you and June, you're both talking, you're talking really about realistic pricing, coming on maybe a little shy of the market, just a bit up, or at least get it sold more quickly. And I talk to a lot of realtors, and that's the mantra right now, which is great.
Yeah,
right.
I think the perceived value is super important right now. So showing up at the house, recognizing that there's value there. And it's pretty easy to do, frankly, right now with where values kind of went up. And if you take a look at what's sold in the last 18 months to 2 years, it's pretty flat. And there's, of course, you have to educate the sellers on that. And that isn't always easy, but having a tactful conversation around pricing, super important.
Yep.
Trajectory of the market, how things are in comparison to what else is available. It's important to be, I think, very conservative on pricing, and then condition. You have to prepare.
Even more
you have
important.
to prepare well in order to compete with not so much other homes, but buyers' expectations.
Yeah.
So you're competing with the buyer's mindset, really, because they are being more discerning. There is concern about money. There's concern about how much things cost as a whole, and we've been dealing with that now with inflation for 4 years, 5 years. Everything going up so much that you need to have that perceived value before they get there. And you're pushing too hard on price, you'll lose that, and it's almost like that's an option to check out, or this is a really good value. Let's go check this out. You have to get in the head of the buyer before they get there. It's important.
And so we sold townhome last weekend, and just to your point, Keith. So we go in there, we're looking at this place, and he's like, "I can just move in here and unpack." I mean,
that's great.
The paint is good, the carpet is good, everything is good, it's clean, and price just kind of never even was much of a conversation. Is it reasonable? Is it reasonable? And can you negotiate and shave a buck or two off? Yeah, Are you at risk that someone's going to come in and now you're all of a sudden in multiples on that one because it's a one-level townhome and not that many of them around? And so if you like it and it's reasonable, just buy the thing and get it off the market, because in 6 weeks you're not going to think about that extra $1,500 that you
Right.
shaved off the price.
Correct.
You feel good about it for 5 minutes. And
Are,
Right.
are most of those things with, and we got to get out to break, but I'm curious, is it they're replacing carpet or just cleaning carpet? Are
depends on the condition.
clean-
Sometimes it just needs to be replaced.
they? Okay.
People don't want to buy someone else's toenails.
Yeah.
So, if you got 10 or 15-year-old carpet, get it out of
Let
there.
me wrap it up here. So I just helped a couple buy a house in Eagan. Great place. The price was, in my opinion, I looked at it, I was like, that's a low price. When we get out there and the carpet needs to be replaced at some point, but not right away, and the house needs paint, but we still bid over asking price because we're in a multiple offer situation because of that perceived value in advance. And thankfully, we won.
Nice job.
So you have to have that perceived value. You don't always have to do everything, but you
Right.
have to be dialed in enough and then have the price match and meet up with that when you get there and
Right.
take a look at the house. So if you're thinking about selling this fall yet, you have opportunity. Give us a call, 612-627-8000, and we'll be right back.
Welcome back to your Real Estate Chalk Talk with Keith and Keith Hittner. Keith and Keith, Calvin Kamick. We got Tera in the studio here from GCS Title, and we're going to be talking about a new law that's coming into play that everyone really needs to be aware of, especially real estate agents, title companies, loan officers. FinCEN. What is FinCEN?
FinCEN?
FinCEN. Yep, it's the new
Vincent?
Fin. Fin.
Oh, jeez, I can't
C-E-N.
Capital CEN. Yep,
Write
it's
that down.
Is this like FERPTA?
Financial. Oh, it's the financial something, right?
Yep, it's the new residential real estate rule. It's basically a law that they're putting into place, and they have to report into what's called FinCEN. And FinCEN is a financial crimes enforcement network.
Okay.
That's what that is. And
What do you mean report into? Like every transaction you guys have to report into?
so it'll
or-
be for like cash sales, deeds, trusts, things like that. So it's going to affect a lot of people, a lot of investors. It will affect. So what it is. So the title company needs to be the one that's reporting it, but the agents, the lenders, they need to know about this new law that's put into place because they're not taking ignorance as an excuse of we didn't do it, because there's going to be big fines that come with this.
And what's the reason for it? Why?
So it's an anti-money laundering
Okay.
law. So what's happening is there's, I'll give you an example. There was the most recent one was there was a guy in California. He bought a house for $8.some million. It was with dirty money. He let it sit on the market for 8 months and then put it back on the market. Maybe had one party in there or something like that. And put it back on the market 8 months later, sold it, and he had clean money.
What do you
and
mean
so-
bought it with dirty money? I don't know what that means.
So like the fraud people. So he was taking money from like offshore accounts, putting it in different accounts. They call it layering.
Mm-hmm.
So they were putting in different money that wasn't good money, and putting in different
Drug
accounts.
money or whatever.
Whatever it was, yep. And then basically once he sold it, then it was good money.
Right. So he
Clean
paid
money.
paying cash.
They're paying cash.
Oh,
yep.
so he bought it with, there it is.
So it's
he
just the
bought it with
sourcing of the
cash.
funds that they're purchasing
Yep.
it with that they're concerned about?
Yes.
Whereas you have
so-
to source funds if you're taking out a loan right now with a mortgage company, so you
Right.
need to source
Correct.
the down payment money.
Yep.
Mhm.
But if you're buying with cash, who's
Nobody
sourcing
cares.
the funds?
Right.
Nobody's sourcing the funds.
Exactly.
So now you are sourcing the funds, or what's
So
the
now-
law like?
So now what they're doing, so then we have information that's required. Now you have to, there's going to be a 111-page form that has to be filled out at
111
Yep.
pages?
111 pages. So they're saying it's going to add like an additional hour and a half to the closing.
To the cash transaction?
Yep. Yep. So it's going to take longer, and it's mandatory. And if it doesn't, if we're not complying, lenders, real estate agents, title companies, we're the ones that have to report it in. But you guys, as real estate agents and lenders, have to require certain information for the FinCEN law and report it.
But I wouldn't have to.
If
so
it's
I'm
a cash
the lending side
transaction, you
because
wouldn't
it's
even be
cash, I'm
involved.
not involved.
If it's not cash. Yep.
So then how does it affect the lending side?
Well, what happens if someone then takes? This is what immediately came to my mind. If someone's going to buy a house with a mortgage,
Yeah.
and then pay it off with cash 2 weeks later.
It's not just cash. It can be, here's what it's all covered in there. So it's the residential real estate, so anything from 1 to 4 family occupancy. Includes condos, dual-use properties, vacant or unimproved land zone, residential copied, shared in a cooperative housing corporation, and it also includes sales anywhere in the U.S., 50 states, D.C., Puerto Rico, overseas territory, and Indian lands. So what constitutes an all-cash sale? It's a lack of any funding coming from an entity with an anti-money laundering obligation. And then they need bank, mortgage broker, mortgage banker, so that it can be
Even significant 50% down money.
Yep. So
But we source that.
Well,
Right,
you
so
all
don't-
you do
so
is make
don't-
sure it's in a
So
account.
don't think about yourself as a mortgage
Yeah.
originator.
Okay.
Think about yourself as the lender. So if I go to pay off,
Yeah.
is this required in a payoff or is it only on transaction?
Mm-hmm.
Yes or no? Is this required on a payoff or is it only on transaction?
both.
Yeah. So
both.
the
So
mortgage,
that'll-
the lender, the mortgage
Mhm.
company then would have to source the funds of the payoff. If I'm like, I just need to,
You have
I'm
to
going to pay
prove it.
off my thing now, transfer, payoff, done.
Yep.
But now they have to have all this.
Like where are you getting the
payoff?
money from?
Serious.
I don't know about
Yep.
all that.
And
Yeah.
even your 50% down payment. So you
Well, we
source it.
source it,
What do
yeah.
you source? You just say, oh, it's in the checking account. It's been there
Oh,
for
no.
30 days.
No,
Yep.
no.
No, we source it. I mean, we just went round and round on the deal. Yeah, we sourced it back and back and back to June and July statements, and the money came from Ecuador, personal account in Ecuador. So we had to get verification of the account in Ecuador, make sure it was legit. I mean, it's a rigmarole when you're trying to play with money, you know. And this was all legit, just guys from Ecuador, right? So yeah, you have to source everything.
You have to
Typically,
verify
you can
it.
do it with 2 or 3 months statements. So.
Yeah, you're just going to have to verify where the source of the funds are coming from.
Yep. And anything outside of payroll, they dig into, right? So payroll, like, you work for 3M, pretty easy.
Yeah.
But it's
we got plenty of time. So I have $1 million sitting in a high interest bearing account. It's been there for however long.
that's
Right.
the key. However, how long?
Yeah. Well, you can have. I mean, if you're
Over 3 months.
sure.
Okay.
So you're okay. So then 3 months you're good.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
that's stupid.
So that's the. So if I can.
If I sold a pair of Jordans last week for my down payment, then yeah, I need to show the bill of sale and all
Bill
that
of
crap.
sale. Yep.
Right.
But-
But if I have drug money sitting in
Right.
an offshore account
3
for
months is nothing.
3 years.
Because the time it takes
Yes.
to buy this piece of real estate for $8 million, it doesn't. This is stupid. This is all dumb.
At least
What's
it's
dumb is that the
But that's
requirement for the
now
look
the
back
new requirement says you have to know where that there is no limit.
Forever?
But what are they
Yeah.
going to ask for?
yeah,
What are they
confusing. I
what's
bet I'm confused.
Here's what, it is confusing. So here's what they're going to ask for. So for the buyer, they're going to ask for the trust details and identification of the beneficial owner, including address, social security number, passport
Okay,
number.
they need the trust. Got
Yep.
it.
Seller's individual information, or if it's an entity or a trust, beneficial owner information. They're going to ask for all the property details, banking information for buyers, including the source of the funds, which you guys are probably already doing anyway. So it might not be a big change to you, but you do have to know about this FinCEN law.
Well, when you say the source of the funds, that's where
It's coming
That's where
from.
it comes from. Not that it's
If
been in the account for 3 months.
Yeah. If it's a
Where did
domestic
it
and
come from?
offshore accounts, how did it get there? Where did it get there? You have to show how it got there, where it came from. If you're seeing any kind of red flags, like they're moving money around or they're layering different funds and putting some in this bank, and I mean anything like that that shows a red flag, you have to show exactly where it came from and how.
Is there an acronym for this?
FinCEN,
Yes.
FINCEN.
Or
FIN.
capital CEN, or RRER, you're going to probably hear about too, which is the Residential Real Estate Rule.
I'm looking it up. Now I'm curious.
But
All right.
Yeah, so they're
Right.
going to need bank payment information, including bank accounts, details for the sourcing of the funds. Like I said, the form is like 111 pages. 60% of it does have to be filled out. Some of the 40% that's not getting filled out, that can go later, but that 60% that's done at the time of closing has to be filled out in order for you to be compliant.
and then what are the fines if you just don't do it?
The fines, criminal liability is up to $250,000 in fines and 5 years in prison.
Ooh.
And they're serious about this. I just did a 4-hour class with our underwriter about this FinCEN, and every day there's more and more stuff coming out on FinCEN, and it's our job as title companies, real estate agents, lenders, to be up to date on the new FinCEN rule law, because they're not using that as an excuse, and then there is jail time too. So, and for every time that you make it, they just keep adding on to the fines and adding on to the fines.
So
You don't want that.
And think
No.
of and if you got jail time, you got that.
Yeah, your
You know
joke.
what I'm saying?
I was like, oh, ties right back into that joke. There.
Yeah.
When you
But there's
okay, so then think of all the cash transactions there are, especially with investors, and flip that so-called cash, and then
Yeah, over the last 5 years too.
yeah,
Yeah.
38% of all the transactions
behind
are
the
cash.
curve.
Mm-hmm.
God.
So then you got these, and like Kelvin says, okay, they're going to source the funds. Really, all that means is that the funds are on a bank account somewhere for 3 months
Yeah, and then they really have to
on our side.
on your
on,
side.
on your side.
On your side. But for this law, they're saying, okay, it's great that it's been in an account for 3 months, but where'd they come from?
Where'd it come from?
Yeah.
Yep.
They're going to dig back that far. I
Yeah,
can't
and with a
tell you
cash
how-
transaction, no one even asks.
No, you just have to show proof of
It's just-
funds.
Yeah,
Proof of funds, right?
Yep.
And that's where it's going to affect you a little
Mhm.
bit, where you just have to do a little bit more digging.
yeah.
Now, there are some things within the FinCEN that is exempt from this new law. That's a grant, a transfer, or revocation of an easement, a TOD, transfer and death deed.
Okay,
We
yep.
talked about that the
Yep.
other day. Transfer incidents, so a divorce or a dissolution of marriage.
We're gonna head out to break here. We'll
Yep.
get right back into it when we return.
There you
All
go.
right.
This is Real Estate Chalk Talk. Log on to hittnergroup.com, HITTNER group.com, or give us a call, 612-627-8000. And we'll
Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. This is your Real Estate Chalk Talk with the Hittner Group, hittnergroup.com, 612-627-8000, 612-627-8000. Give us a ring-a-ling-a-ling. Happy to have a fall chat with you about getting ready to sell. Fall is a great time to sell a house. Actually, it is. It's a great time to buy a house. Coming into fall, coming in, get yourself all locked down. All
lovely
nice.
time.
Lovely time. You got a beautiful holiday season coming up. You can enjoy in your new property. Super duper. Okay, we're talking with Tera Lawson. We're talking about FinCEN, which is a financial crimes real estate rule.
Mhm.
We're talking about money laundering. I think that's the main
That's the
thrust
main
of the
thing,
thing.
yep.
Is you got a lot of money laundering going on here, where people are buying a house, paying cash for it for $200,000, and maybe the house isn't worth $200,000, but they're dropping $200,000 into it, and they're turn around sell it, 6 months later or 3 months later or whatever it is for $180. It costs them, 10% to launder the money, but they walk out then with clean money going into an account somewhere.
Exactly.
Is the way it goes. And dirty money coming in, clean money going out.
Yep.
The government stepping in and saying, wait a minute. Where is that money coming from? What crimes are going on? Is this drug money that's coming in? Is this human trafficking
Yep.
money that's coming in? Where is this money coming from? And we need to track it back. And with that tracking it back, now they're able to address the core issue of the crime that created those funds in the first
Yep,
place.
that's exactly right.
Makes for a complicated situation. We're saying, I can't believe that. You said 100 pages?
111 pages is the form that they have to fill out at the time of closing.
111-page form at the time of closing, or just like...
But you have to just explain that to them
That's it. So,
within 2 minutes.
yeah, you have to explain to them, and sometimes you're going to have hesitation. I'm sure there's going to be times where there's going to be hesitant, like, what's that? So if that's the case, have them call the title company that you choose to use, because they're the ones that are reporting it into FinCEN, and that can help them kind of set their mind at ease a little bit too.
So is this something that can be done in advance prior to closing?
Yes.
So it doesn't...
Yep.
So it's all done up front.
Mhm.
And in that closing, do they have to sign the document then?
Yeah.
Or, okay.
They're going to have to sign it.
Ooh. And
So-
it was their information that went in there.
It's all their
So is that
information.
the customer has to provide that information, or where do you get the information from?
We'll provide the form.
You provide the
The
form.
title company does, if they're using a title company.
Yeah.
If they're doing the deed by themselves, if they're using an attorney, if they're, if they have a FSBO, whatever the case may be, then they're responsible for that.
Okay, so
So if they're having an attorney drafted up, then that attorney is the one that needs to let them know that, hey, you got the new law is in place effective December 1st, 2025, and you're going to have to fill out this form, and here's why. They have to be compliant too.
So for people listening, as an investor who is buying, what should I be aware of in preparation for this? Just know where my money came from, or what? I'm a cash buyer. I'm going to go out and buy.
If you're not a criminal,
if you're
not a criminal,
yeah.
I'm going to go buy a house to flip. I'm going to pay cash, and I'm going to pay for all my flip things. It's all going to be cash.
Mm-hmm.
What do I need to? How do I prepare for this?
So you're going to have to you'll have to identify where the funds are coming from. You're going to have to, work with your lender on that. You are going to have your passport, all the things that you have for closing too, but there's going to be a lot more steps involved in it. Then look through that form, fill out the form as
passport, not just real ID.
It could real ID,
okay.
passport,
okay.
Yeah, same. I mean, either.
So
one,
it's coming out of a savings account that I've had for years. I've just been kind of slowly accumulating money in this. How do you source that? I don't know where it came from.
Probably just like statements. Go back so many months worth of statements and show that and
show that progress of small deposits.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Wow.
And then they'll look at that too and say, hey, where did the majority of these deposits come from? I mean, you would be probably cut and dry.
What kind of enforcements are we talking
Senior
about
would be
here?
cut and dry?
Yeah,
yeah.
I think you would.
Yeah. What kind of enforcement is there? You say, well, there's fines and there's penalties and there's jail time and all that stuff. But you know how some of these laws are passed, but then there's no money allocated for enforcement. And monitoring, and how are these things audited and checked? Do you have any indication of that?
They have a lot of people on that task force currently that are looking into that and looking at the red flags and stuff like that. So it's kind of like an audit. You don't know really when you'll get picked or when you won't get picked, but yeah.
It goes through AI, and AI says, boop, look at this one. Yeah.
It'll get flagged. Kind of like an audit, like, hey, that doesn't look right. What's going on there?
All right, now I got another question, different topic. So GCS Title and Partners Title is you're working together. What does that look like, and why is that, and is it a merger or what's going on with that?
So this has been in the works for a little over a year, and it was, as times are changing and evolving, we are thinking of different ways. They are thinking of different ways of how we can make this better for our partners. And them having 11 locations, us having 3 locations at the time, how can we make it better and more convenient for our clients? And we looked at Partners kind of model. What do they have? What strengths do they have? What strengths do we have? And one of the strengths they had was having all the locations, so the 11 locations. So we're like, why don't we pull together and share resources? And then share resources with our closers. And then, so right now we're just sharing and pooling together all of our resources, and we pay them and they pay us on the stuff that they use of ours. And then until everything got cleaned up to become a partnership, that's when we'll go together. So it should be happening anytime now.
So it become one company.
Yeah.
So right now
Same
you're
name,
in the process of blending.
or is it GCS Partners, or what is it?
We haven't really gone down that road yet, but we'll talk about that probably within the next few days.
Okay, so that's a reflection of the times, and a lot of companies are doing that, and you see that in the financial markets all of the time, where you've got people who are merging and as the markets shrink and companies come together, there's fewer companies out there doing more business. As opposed to a lot of companies doing a little business. It's hard to cover overhead and stuff like that. There's so much duplication of effort that it lets you use the same resources. Smart, really. I love the locations because we've had some closing.
Same.
You and I were in Woodbury this week.
Same, yeah.
I walked in and, well, your son just left. Really?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's so neat, guys.
Yeah, and that's a nice office. Yeah, he doesn't tell me, anymore when he's got stuff going on. He used to tell me.
Stuff going on all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. That probably made it more convenient for you guys versus just using either our Edina, Woodbury, or Eagan office. Now there's multiple different choices that we can use and share.
Yeah. What about the closer that we're using now? And we're getting down a little rabbit hole, but people don't care maybe, but it is kind of nice because with COVID and people started working remote. Right now you got people all over the place.
Yeah.
and you don't even know where they are. I called the office the other day, and phone got answered, and I asked for, I forget who I asked for, and they said, oh, they're over in the Eagan office. And I thought I was calling the Eagan office. Because
it was really Bangladesh.
Yeah.
it was.
Their
It
call
was.
center.
No, they didn't have an accent. It was pretty good. You could understand
Very
it
good.
clearly. So you're excited about that?
Yeah, the locations are convenient. I was
Yeah.
having
It
a
is.
conversation with a title gal at Burnett that I know, and she's of course trying to get us to work with them, and
Mm-hmm.
but that's convenient. And so for you guys, going with this partnership that you currently have with partners has provided it to be more convenient. And my conversation with her the other day was surrounding COVID and how much more convenient it is for closers now, especially not having to travel as much, with having the separate closings that are taking place where a seller's coming in at their convenience and signing, the buyers are coming in then on the actual closing date. That title individual doesn't have to travel to another title company. They can just be at their home base handling their work and then sending documentation off and checks and everything where they need to go after.
Do you guys use the RON closing platform at all? RON, it's called RON Remote Online Notary, where you can just close online too.
No.
So that's an option. That's an option too. So it's a remote online notary where you can do your closing online and do the e-signature.
Does everything accept that now, Calvin? Do all mortgage companies
do.
accept
Yep.
that now pretty much?
Yep.
So
Not
there's
all.
no more wet signatures
Not all of
required.
them.
Not all lender. I mean,
No.
you have to make sure the software matches and stuff, which Loan Depot has that. So
Okay, so some government mortgages I thought had to be still wet signatures.
On
No?
FHA, there's a couple docs that I think still need wet, don't they?
Really?
yeah, there's a couple,
Oh, horrible.
but
It's fine.
All
But
right.
they could be overnighted or whatever.
yep, that's what we've
But I think
done.
it's
I had
still good.
I just had an
Close.
inbound relocation transaction.
Me
They're
too.
in let's say West Virginia, and they closed in West Virginia for a purchase in Minnesota. They just went to that national title agency that was, had locations all over the place, so that was convenient, or like a satellite location in notary. So all kinds of ways to do it. Well, we appreciate you guys at GCS Title,
Thank you.
GCStitle.com. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Log on to
Appreciate
GCStitle.com to find out about their company. We're going to head out to break. HittnerGroup.com is our website, HITTNER Group.com. There you can check your home value or search for properties all online at HittnerGroup.com, or give us a call, as always, 612-627-8000.
But we're going to wrap.
Money in the bank.
Rates are good. Pretty exciting. You know why?
Right.
Free money. You understand what I'm saying?
Hey, welcome back. Thanks for sticking around. This is your Real Estate Chalk Talk with the Hittner Group and with Calvin Kamek, world famous loan officer, one of the best in the country.
I agree.
My
with that.
Smarter Mortgage, 651-231-2500, 651-231-2500. Got the great rates. Lowest rates in the United States of America.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I'm
exciting.
told. That's what I'm told.
Oh, yeah. We can.
Mm-hmm.
So, going to talk about a number of things. We'll start off real quick. Vikings game Monday night. I was in
Ooh.
Chicago
Okay.
at the game.
Mr. Big Shot.
Were you really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Jets down for the
Yeah.
game,
Went down for the game.
How were you feeling third quarter?
Oh, my God.
I was feeling first quarter
Defeated.
looking around like we're purpled up, right?
Right.
So we had our management team went down there, and so we went out, so we're all purpled up. Not great. Second quarter, not great. Third quarter,
a little better.
a little bit like okay, like let's go, and you'd see glimpses, right? Glimpses, and then fourth quarter came, and you saw some of it finally get executed, and it's just like, oh god. But there's like a minute left in the game. I'm still like, there's a good chance this gets tied up.
Yeah.
That's
And
because
we
it's the Vikings.
I know,
Yeah,
right?
That's
Just like,
where you're
oh.
at.
But the Vikings have
Nailed
turned
it.
into a fourth quarter team.
They
I
have.
know.
That's what I said too. I'm like, hey, don't
Yeah.
lose faith.
Yeah. they
So
are a fourth
anyway,
quarter
super
team.
fun game, super fun. I'd never been inside a Soldier Field, so that was a really cool experience and really fun. Super excited for I'm a big football guy, so super excited for the season. So and you go think about the pressure though on like McCarthy, like everyone, like just first game Monday Night Football, 30 minutes from where he grew up.
Yep.
They said there's 200 to 250 people there from his town to watch. You know, I mean, just the nerves. I don't care who you are. Even senior might get a little nervous.
Nervous
little
about
rattled.
that.
When the stands are full for the pickleball thing, he's going to put it in the net the first probably 4 or 5 times.
Probably.
You know. So anyway, so that was super cool. And now this week, Sunday Night Football, right? So I mean, he's on the biggest platform the first 2 games, and so really hope he's a quality kid. So I hope he can just pull it together and we can just have a great season again. So Vikings game, super fun. Again, sympathy Charlie Kirk deal, 'cause we publish our segment. We talked about it in the first segment, but everybody kind of tunes into this segment. So just, our heart goes out to his family and wife and kids, and, just devastating loss. It's not a red or blue. We were talking at coffee. It's not a red or blue deal. It's right and wrong. It's evil and good. I mean, it cuts to the core of that. And, it just shows you that there's evil in the world, and we see it all over with North Carolina, with what happened here in the Twin Cities, with Russia bombing, putting 2 missiles into Poland this past week, and NATO stuff. There's just a lot of things. I just challenge people to be prayerful and considerate and kind, and let's got to change our heart posture,
right?
Know? So anyway, so let's talk about what's going on this coming next week. Before we meet again, we'll have the Fed meeting, so we're going to see dramatic changes.
Yeah, dramatic.
Nothing.
You don't think so?
Now, what's going to happen is they've already priced in a quarter. So what everybody needs to understand, don't call. And I'm going to tell people today, don't refinance. Don't call when the Fed lowers it by a quarter and then say, hey, my mortgage rates dropped by a quarter. They don't, right? If anything, rates will move up a little bit. Now, if we get a half-point cut instead of a quarter is baked in, which means we've already accounted for it. So you see all these headlines saying rates are low, rates are dropping. The next week, the Fed, it's all baked in, folks. It's all baked in. So where are rates? They're right, 6.5, 6.25. We're in a great spot, right? If we just get a little bit more, now we're flirting with 5.99 and high 5s, low 6s. Put me there. I'll go from 5.5 to 6.5, and I'll run out my career with that 100 basis point swing.
Right.
If you can give that to me, I'm great, because that's a really good spot to be. So, so I anticipate a quarter next week. If we get a half, we'll see maybe a little bit of a decrease. I think if we see a quarter, I think we'll actually see rates bump up a little bit. Because that's happened every time.
Right. Because they'll say, okay, they did what we thought.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Now, okay. Here, and they'll settle up. They always settle up a little bit higher than lower, right? Rates go up fast and down slow. So I encourage people, if you're thinking about some of this, let's have a conversation now, and let's get everything set up. I did a mass email out to clients just saying, hey, just touching base. I always put hey, just hit reply and go 1, 2, 3, 4, right? 1 is this, 2, 3, 4, just to make it easy for people to respond. But if you want to get ready, we got to get ready.
Right.
A great example of that is this first gen. You probably heard of this. Some of there's grant programs right out there, and bond programs. They give, and that's a whole another hour of conversation on philosophy around it. But the first gen program says if you're the first generation to own a home, you can get funds. And in this one particular case, the one that's left in the Twin Cities, it forgives 20% of it per year for 5 years. So after 5 years, gone. Super great program, $35,000, great. So they closed it down because they said we're overwhelmed with applications because they have 7 people or I don't know. But you know what I'm saying, right?
Yep.
So understaffed and over demand.
So they're saying, hey, and then all of a sudden, boom, opened it up. We're all like, hey, let's go.
Claim.
Yeah, 48 hours later, shut down. And they're like, hey,
they got enough work now to last them for 6 months.
They opened it up for 300 applications. They got them. So if you weren't ready, you missed it. Yeah. Because, by the way, you had to have your education done. You can't have a purchase agreement before you have the. There's some.
You can't have a purchase agreement before.
No.
You apply.
No, you have to have everything done.
I mean, the point is there. Then get your education.
Now. Get everything dialed in. Give us all the information so the minute.
So they get in touch with you on that, Calvin, to get in line.
Get a hold of me.
Basically, you're getting in line.
Yep. Yeah. Get a hold of me.
Get the queue
today. Literally today.
Is it the same education that's all first-time homebuyer money?
Yep.
So it's the same. So that's good for all the programs.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So
And they
there's
can call
ones that
you
are
then,
cheaper.
651.
231-2500, 651-231-2500. Such an easy phone number, right?
It is.
So,
Great
man.
number.
To get
So-
in line for some down payment assistance.
Yep. So that's but that just shows you the speed of what's happening. So same with this refinance. Let's get dialed in. So we have a laundry list, and we're just waiting for the rate. Like when the rate hits, I'm like, hey, if the rate hits this, I'm locking. You know,
Right.
You don't know. So there's a lot of that's fun in a way too, because it brings some excitement. And kind of we're excited again.
Let me ask you this. So if I'm looking at buying a house today,
Mm-hmm.
in line of where you think rates are going,
Mm-hmm.
am I better off to get a 30-year fixed rate and lock it in? Should I get a 5-year ARM or 7-year ARM or something like that? What would you recommend?
The ARMs aren't priced where they need to be attractive enough to make up for the interest rate risk, right? So take your 30-year fix, be happy.
And then refinance if it
Refinance if you want to. I mean, we always have had a lifetime guarantee, so no lender fees, no appraisal fee on your refinance. So it's really inexpensive. And I wanted to run through, because a lot of people online, I'm like looking in, when should you refinance? At what point should you refinance? And I'm going to encourage people, like, if you can avoid escrows when you refinance because you have 20% equity or more, maybe do that, because one of the costs in refinancing is setting up that new escrow account. Now, do you get that money back? Yep. But so sometimes that's been a hindrance for us, where people are like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I got to either add that much into my loan or bring that money to close. Even though you set up your new escrow account, you'll get a refund of your existing one.
Yeah.
And those are pretty close numbers.
And they won't roll it over.
No, if it's serviced by Loan Depot and we're refinancing at Loan Depot, then we can what they call net escrows, but that's way complicated. No one cares. That's
Okay.
listening. So, so do that. The cost without paying a discount point, don't pay discount points on your refinance, right? You have to be at a point to really make it make sense. You want to be able to have that payback in 3 years. So I ran numbers. The cost of $300,000 loan. If you're at 7.5, your payment's $2,098. If it drops to 6.5, now you're at $1,896. You save $202. That means you should be able to recover that money within a couple years, 2 to 3 years on the outside. And if it's like in 7 years, you'll make up that. Like,
Don't do it.
Too much.
Do that, guys. It doesn't make sense. So, and if you do that and you're paying a point, right? This is with no discount points, nothing. Then it's going to take you longer. So that interest rate pickup that you get for paying that discount better be pretty significant.
Okay.
To still make sure your payback is 3 years or less. If you're like 3.5, it's like marginally,
Right.
But
If it's 4, it's too much.
yeah. So let's have a conversation around it, so we at least know what's going on and see. I mean, we have a lot of people in the low 7s, and low 7s, we're getting to the point where it might make sense. So let's at least have a conversation. A lot of people are wanting cash out right now because they have credit card debt. They have some of that. So that makes that interest rate, though, go up a little bit. So now we have to, again, determine, does it make sense?
Oh.
So it's good to have the conversations. We love that conversation. So I encourage you to give me a call. Again, 651-231-2500. Let's just have a cup of coffee, have a conversation. I'm meeting with a client of ours today that's a older gentleman that just like, I'm not a technology guy. I'm like, great.
Yeah.
Bring your laptop. He has a laptop. Like, bring it in. Let's do it together.
Right.
We're going to do that.
In person.
So, yeah.
Old school.
I
Love
like
that.
that.
So
Super.
Thanks,
Anyway.
Calvin.
that's it.
Thank you, Tera.
Thank you.
Senior.
That's it for this week on your Real Estate Chalk Talk with the Hittner Group. 612-627-8000. Give us a ring-a-ling-a-ling. We'll see you next week.
You've been listening to